Welcome back to Newsday. Nigeria's policies on port operations and maritime trade are shaped by agencies like the Nigerian Ports Authority and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Musa. These policies aim to enhance efficiency, security, and competitiveness in the maritime sector, addressing issues like port infrastructure, customs procedures, and safety regulations. The government emphasizes the improvement of port infrastructure to accommodate growing trade volumes, with investment targets modernizing terminals, expanding capacity, and enhancing equipment for efficient cargo handling. Policies aim to streamline custom processes to reduce delays and improve the ease of doing business are also constantly put in place. Also, maritime security is a priority, with regulations in place to combat piracy, illegal fishing, and other maritime crimes, as NIMASA plays a crucial role in enforcing safety standards and ensuring compliance with international maritime conventions. For this conversation, let's now turn to Dr. Olusegun Musa, Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Wide Scope Group. Good to have you on Arise News. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for being here
today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I'd like you to, let's start with getting your assessment, of how government policies have impacted port operations and, of course, maritime trade in Nigeria so far.
Yeah, first and foremost, the inconsistency in government policy is a major challenge to the industry. And when government is not consistent in policy, it affects projection and the advancement of that corridor. Again, you look at the agencies of government, the impact of the agencies of government in enhancing the efficiency of the ports. These are major factors that we need to look into. We itemize them one by one. We look at the government policy, and we look at the players, what the players should be doing in enhancing efficiency of the ports. Let me start by saying, what is a port? A port is an environment where you receive your import and your exports are taken out of the country, either through the sea, through the road, or through the airport. All these gateways are very essential for economic advancement. And when they are not efficient in, when they are not functioning effectively, it affects the holistic economy system of the country. Let's take the airport first. We have a kind of airport that is not aligning with international best practices. Normally, what is expected within the airport environment is you have a limited agencies that have to scrutinize any cargo that passes through the airport. At a particular time, after the 9/11, the American government decided to fuse most of those agencies for efficiency. And we also advise the government to also toe the same line, just like our presidency is talking about our Australia reports. We have so many agencies that have to do almost the same thing, scrutinizing, examining the same cargo. And when you have multiple agencies that has to handle a particular shipment, you waste a whole lot of time. And you create an atmosphere for corruption. But when you have a lead agency like custom that will supervise whatever the cargo, and if need be, they will now refer you to the agency that is concerned. But if there's no need for it, there won't be need for custom referring you. They will just release, after examination and there's no discrepancy, they release you and you go. And again, within the corridor, you won't have to see any custom officer laying siege for a cargo that has been examined, has been released, and has been exited from the port. These are ways to enhance your port operation. And it's not peculiar to airport, both the seaport, the land border. When you are coming through the land border, after shipment has passed through the custom examination and everything, you see officer laying siege every corridor until you get to out of Badagry area. And that is not the right thing to do. You send a wrong signal to the rest of the world that definitely we are not doing things right. It is expected that whatever has been processed through the port, nobody stops it again. It is expected to have been perfectly done. In a situation where custom lays siege and they still arrest cargo on the road, it's a self-indictment that the customs are playing on the intelligence of the government. or Nigerians. It is expected that once the custom department have done the thorough examination and they've released, nobody stops you again. Until we begin to engage this discussion, the port will remain an analog port. We've also proposed to government that all international modern ports are automated. I don't need to know a custom officer. I don't need to see a custom officer. I don't need to know a NAFDAC officer or see a standard organization officer. We don't need to have interface. Whatever needs to be done must be online. When the shipment arrives, you pass it through the scanner. The scanner will scan your shipment. When they scan your shipment, the report will be filed. Immediately you input your data in the custom platform. They will attach the data to your scanning report. If everything matches perfectly, they will advise you to pay your custom duty. Okay. Once you pay your custom duty, they release to you immediately without any physical examination.
You know, it's interesting because that was going to be my next question to you. Exactly how we intend to adapt, you know, in the evolving trade dynamics, especially when it comes to technological advancements. Now, but if we move on from that, I want us to touch on maritime security a bit because it is a critical aspect of Nigeria's maritime industry, especially in the safeguarding against piracy, smuggling, illicit activities. How concerned are you, or how confident, rather, are you in the maritime laws that currently address security concerns and also empower law enforcement agencies to combat these maritime crimes effectively? Yeah,
number one, you need to understand that the maritime corridor is a very porous one. You have, it does not look like the seaport or airport where you have gates that can man. It's so wide.
Exactly.
And coverage is always based on intelligence. When you're talking about maritime security, we use more of intelligence aside physical observation. Aside that, we need to also understand that every community within the confine of maritime environment, the aquatic environment, must be manned by the community. The community play a critical role aside the patrol on the waterway.
Yes.
Again, we discussed about the green economy, the deep sea economy. All these are factors that will enhance the security agency to monitor those navigational environment very well. Because you have an helicopter, you have all these gadgets that can be monitoring from the sky. But when you're talking about the major security challenges, it's not within our confine. It's the deep sea where the pirates operate from, the deep sea. And that one has to do with a lot of intelligence.
Yeah.
A lot of intelligence. Like you have the ships coming, they observe anything, they know who to call, and they know when to call. All over the world, deep sea are operational. They are more effective when you use intelligence. All over the world, there's no country that is immune, but we can only have a situation where it is reduced minimally. But whether we like it or not, we are part of the global village that we must deploy intelligence. And in deploying intelligence, all security apparatus must be in place. And I think that is the only way, because if we don't address the insecurity within our water corridor, the freight charge will continue increasing. There's what we call security surcharge. Security surcharge is because you don't have a well-secured maritime environment. You are prone to pirates, you are prone to attack and every other thing. So the insurance company that will secure your cargo and the vessel will pay higher premium for insurance. And that's why on our freight charges, we do have what we call high security surcharge.
Okay, very well said. There's so much to discuss. I was going to ask, about the floating of the naira and the impact on maritime trade. But unfortunately, we are completely out of time. Honorable Dr. Olusegun Musa, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.